be beaming, I be booming down that block. Everywhere you go, you know they know I'm hot.
What's the deal? What's going on, my good people? Welcome back to the channel. Happy Tuesday. Hope you all are doing well. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you. Pull up a seat. I hope you enjoy the content. And before we get into this cooking video, I want to ask that you like, comment, share, subscribe, and go ahead and tap that bell while you're at it so you're notified anytime I drop a brand new video, go live, or schedule a premiere. All right, y'all. So we back in the kitchen. We are cooking today, okay? So we are making some Chinese food. We are making some chow mein, and we're also making some fried rice. I'm gonna walk you through the steps to make both items, and I can't wait to get down. I cannot wait to taste it at the end. All right, let's get the cooking. Let's go ahead and get started with our vegetables that we'll need for the chow mein. I have some carrots. I also decided to use red cabbage. You can use whatever kind of cabbage you prefer. I chose the red because I loved how vibrant it looked. We also have some red bell pepper. There's broccoli, garlic. You can use minced garlic if you prefer, and 1 shallot. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the garlic and the shallot. Now I use the wok. You can use a skillet, whichever you prefer. This is medium heat. I'm using grapeseed oil. I'm going to let this saute until they become translucent. And then once that happens, I'm going to go ahead and add in the cabbage, the bell pepper, and the carrots. Again, this is set over medium heat, so I'm letting this cook down, giving you a close-up. Look how beautiful that looks, nice and colorful. Okay, then after a few minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and add in the final vegetable, which is broccoli. So we have that added in, and again, just gonna let this go ahead and cook down for a few minutes. I haven't added any seasoning or anything at this point. Okay, perfect. So now let's move on to our noodles. So when it comes to the noodles, you can use whatever kind of noodle you prefer. I decided to try a new noodle this time around. It's called Koyo, and it's actually a vegan noodle. Perfect. So I got this from Sprouts if you're interested in trying it. But you can use ramen. You can use whatever you prefer for your noodle. And then next up, let's go ahead and move on to our sauce. So these are all the ingredients that you'll need. We have sriracha, there's sesame oil, there's sugar, we have sherry, soy sauce, and hoisin sauce as well. And now we're going to go ahead and get those added into a bowl. Okay, so first up, we have 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. And you can use whatever kind of soy sauce you prefer. If you like low sodium, that's perfect as well. And next up, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of the hoisin sauce. All right. And the next thing we're going to do is add in 1 tablespoon of sherry. And then our next ingredient is 1.5 teaspoons of sugar. I used organic sugar, but you can use whatever kind of sugar you'd like. White sugar, brown sugar, whatever your preference. Then there's 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. And then finally, there's 1 teaspoon of sriracha. This is completely optional. You can add more or add less. Feel free to make adjustments to any of the ingredients. And then you want to go ahead and give that a good stir. Make sure everything is mixed together nicely. All right, now let's go ahead and move back to our chow mein. So I've added in the noodles to put that with the vegetables. Giving you a close-up on that. I'm loving the texture of the Koyo noodles as well. Perfect. All right, so next what we're going to do is time to now add the sauce into the chow mein. Okay, so I poured the sauce in. Now the next step is going to be to give it a good mix. You want to make sure the sauce is mixed in evenly as possible throughout the entire pan, because I want to make sure that there's sauce on my vegetables, all my noodles. I want to be able to have that sauce in every bite. So again, you want to take a minute to give this a good toss. And as you can see, we haven't added any additional seasonings. All the flavor is inside of the sauce. All right, now we're just about done. So we're going to go ahead and add in some green onions. You can add in as much as you'd prefer. Now on to our final step, which is the sesame seeds. So I've mixed in the green onions a little bit, and now I'm going to go ahead and top it with sesame seeds. You can add as much or as little as you'd like. And then I'm going to go ahead and show you the finished product. Here we go. This is our chow mein, all done. Nice and pretty, colorful, vibrant, inviting. Like, I want to take a bite of this right now. Let me tell you one thing about Chinese food. I always have chow mein and fried rice together. I have never had Chinese food and had them separately, one without the other. They just go together. They're like marriage, in my opinion. So now that we have finished the chow mein, let's go ahead and move on to the fried rice. Let's go ahead and get started with the rice. So for this, I'm actually going to use cauliflower rice, but you can use brown rice, you can use white rice, whichever you prefer. I wanted to see how the cauliflower would taste, and also I wanted to scale back on some of the carbs. So what I'm going to do is put this in a skillet over medium heat, and all I want to do is just cook this down. It'll only take a few moments for it to cook down, and what I'm looking for is for it to get translucent. That'll happen in, I would say, maybe 4 to 5 minutes. So keep a close eye on the cauliflower rice. This is what it looks like, and I haven't added any seasoning at all. Okay, so you'll see that it is translucent. Some of it's even browned in parts. All right, so we'll go ahead and take that off the heat and move on to the next step. I decided to use tofu for the fried rice, but this is completely optional. If you do decide to use tofu, you'll want to choose extra firm, and you'll want to do your best to drain as much of the liquid as possible. And then once that's done, you'll want to go ahead and cut up and cube the tofu into pieces this size. And then once that's done, go ahead and put it on some parchment paper. This is going into the oven. I've preheated the oven to 400 degrees, and I'm going to let the tofu sit in there for about 20 to 25 minutes. I'm looking for crispy edges and for it to brown as well. Now, while that's in the oven, let's move on to our sauce. First up, we're going to use 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Again, using any type of soy sauce that you'd like. We're also going to use 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. And then next up, I'm going to add in a teaspoon of garlic. And I'm going to add in 1 teaspoon of chili garlic sauce and 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. Now, just like the other sauce, you want to go ahead and give this a good mix it around, make sure everything is in there evenly. Okay, so the 25 minutes is up. Our tofu has browned. You can see the edges are crisp. So what I've done is added it into the sauce that I just made. Gonna let this marinate for about 4 to 5 minutes. Allow it to absorb as much flavor as possible. Once that time is up, gonna add it to a hot skillet. I'm using grapeseed oil. This is medium heat. Now, what I wanted to do is brown even more. I wanted to crisp up, almost to even have a crunch to it, but you can take yours out whenever you'd like to. So I'm going to go ahead and let it sit on this side for a moment before I stir it. And then we're going to go ahead and add in our vegetables. I'm adding in some carrots. I'm adding in some green onions as well. And the last vegetable that I'm going to add in are some peas. I'm using some frozen peas. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and now stir this, mix it up nicely. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of flavor by adding in some soy sauce. This is about a teaspoon of soy sauce. Now we'll go ahead and add in our rice to the skillet. Again, I'm using cauliflower rice. Go ahead and use brown rice, white rice, whichever you prefer. Okay, giving that a good stir. And then we're going to go ahead and pour in the rest of the sauce. Okay, this is going to give us our flavor. This is going to give it that nice brown color as well. And my heat is still set to medium at this point. And this is the finished product. This is what the rice looks like. Of course, I still have the heat going, but it is pretty much done. As you can see, our tofu is nice and crisp. We have our veggies all cooked down. It smells amazing. The sauce is filled the kitchen. I am ready to taste this rice. Okay, it is about that time. We're all done. We got our chow mein. We got our rice. All those colors. Colors, colors, colors. I love it. Let's go ahead and try this rice first. Got a hint of sweetness from the maple syrup in the sauce, but not overly sweet. That's good. Yes. Now let's try this chow mein. That is really good. Good balance of flavor. I'm sure. Let me say one more bite. The way those vegetables taste together, Got a nice little bite. The beautiful thing about this is that you can make adjustments easily. So you can make this for your family. But if somebody wants to add egg, they want to add shrimp, chicken, pork, you can do that so easy. Just go ahead and make it the same way that I did and make the extra stuff on the side. It's super easy to accommodate any dietary need in this dish if you want to add something else to it, or keep it like it is. But I don't know, I hope you guys like this recipe. I had a lot of fun making this. Let me know in the comments if you are going to try this or not, okay? All right, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Be good to yourself. Peace.
I be beaming, I be booming down that block. Everywhere you go, you know they know I'm hot.